Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode of the Green Industry Podcast. Our special guest today is in Georgia. He's in the part of Georgia that I hope to move to one day. Tony, welcome back to the program, my friend.
Man, it is always a blessing to come on here. You've had me on here multiple times. You had me on here when you first started your podcast. I was driving in a car down to Florida for a few days, and that audio was pretty rough, because we're driving the car and all that. But it was so cool because your show is still starting, so was able to make the cut back then. And then you came to my house on last summer's tour. Now here we are again. And I think there was maybe one or two other times that I was on there virtually, in between there. But the whole lawn care community is awesome. But getting to know you throughout the years, and it's crazy all the twists and turns of what's happening in our industry and in our community and all that. And there's so many great things going on with it just in general. And so I'm excited about it. I'm excited about Expo coming up. Use promo code Paul. I already signed up the other day, got my 50% off. So y'all be sure to do that as well.
Cool. We will definitely talk about Equip. You have more years of experience attending Equip than I do, and you're one of those OGs at the Pleasure Ridge Pizza Day. So I want to talk all about that, but we've been getting so many new listeners, Tony. So real abbreviated version, how many customers do you have? Give us a little bit of the lay of the land of your actual lawn care business, and then we'll talk about the trade show, just because we have so many new ears that I know your story and old listeners know your story, but just so everybody listening, we're all on the same page. Go ahead and give the abbreviated version of just the size of your business and the uniqueness of Lake Oconee and all that.
Yeah, so 1986, my dad started his lawn business, but then for me, starting, early mid 2000s after school, I was homeschooled and such, so I would go out lunchtime a little after and start working with my dad. He'd be clearing lots, he'd be doing landscaping out here at Lake Oconee. My parents were in a business where they would drive from Atlanta to Augusta. And one day they stopped for lunch in a little town close to here called Madison. They were like, I don't know where we are, but we want to live there. And so they picked up a real estate book back in those days, bought a little house here on the water on the north end of the lake. And then my dad started his business here. And so he started that, and I started working with him after school. And it was always our plan growing up to, as I became adult, that I wanted to start my own company. And so me and my dad still do things together, business wise, and we still talk all the time and do all that. But I started my company, I think 2011, right in that, late 2011, not late, but, during the season, I would pick up 1 or 2 yards here and there. Just like all the rest of us, I was just picking up a yard here, there. I was putting out business cards. My wife was helping me at the time. We were, doing mailboxes, doing the whole thing, and just pick up 1 yard at a time. And then I was still working my dad's company, driving a crew, me and another guy, me and my brother, or sometimes me and a couple guys. And I would start doing my couple yards on the weekends. And then as I build more, I went down to 4 days, 3 days, like that with my dad, and then went full-time my business, maybe 55, 57 customers, somewhere here and there. But then last year I went to a full weekly only schedule. And so now I just work for 30 clients, and all but just a couple of them are in kind of the 2 high-end neighborhoods here. So it's really a blessing. So I like it. I like that, every Monday you do the same exact schedule, Tuesday, same exact schedule. Some people maybe would think that's boring or something, but for me, I like it. And it's year round and all that. So we got a lot of leaves, a lot of the trees are all protected by Georgia Power around the lake here. Very mature, big trees, a lot of, sticks, leaves and things. So that keeps you busy year round, which is a great thing. So 2013 is when I got involved with the lawn care community. I was looking up stuff for my business, somehow stumbled upon Geek to Freak Fitness and Lawn Care, right? And that was before I even had kids and all that. Me and my wife were married for only maybe a year or so. And I went deep into the rabbit hole, just like Paul. Every night, I wouldn't even be able to pay attention. All of a sudden, it'd be 2 a.m. I'd be, watching these videos. My wife's like, what are you, what are you doing? You're just watching lawn mowing videos. But then my wife started watching them with me, and she kind of, she started enjoying them, getting hooked as well. Greg come out in the new video, we had to hit that thing up right away, right? And then
you're sitting here watching him mow these raggedy lawns in Illinois, and it's irresistible because it's crazy. I'd watch the whole video, and it's so good.
And I think those of you out there, no matter what city you live in, I think your lawn care business can be great, because sometimes people can get the misconception of just because most of my houses are multi-million-dollar yards, it doesn't mean that the cheap houses are bad. There are definitely some pros to, let's say you're in a business where you're doing small, medium, houses, small lawns, medium lawns, maybe medium areas, low area, income wise, you can still make a lot of money doing those small lawns. And it's really, you can have just as good as business doing that, in my opinion, as I can do in my business here. So I say all that to say, I'm basically in this, even though, yeah, we service nice properties out here at the lake and all that, and it's great. I love it. Work for a lot of great people. And some of the benefits is that, they are doing very well, the customers that I have. So one of the good things about it is, my cost for lawn service, is probably very small drop in the bucket in their world. And I think that's a good thing, because that way, it's really not a problem. Like there's no wait till Friday I get paid and, and that stuff. But, right. Go ahead.
Well, we were talking off air before we went on to the show. My dream down the road is to live in that neighborhood that you're working in. And it's just astronomical how expensive that area is. And, it's a dream of mine, and I'm going to work hard towards that goal, Tony. And, hopefully if it's the Lord's will, we'll work out one day. But it's a really nice neighborhood where Tony works, guys, like really, really, really nice. Big money down there. But what I liked about those videos, and because I started in 2011 when you started, and not that I got burnt out, Tony, but my prices were too low and there was a lot of inefficiency in my business. And so by 2013, when I found Greg's videos, my business it just wasn't going that well. And so when I watched Greg and I saw how much fun he had working, it like resurrected something in me where I was like, oh man, I know Johnny Moe explained this a little bit more eloquently than me, but he said it like reignited the passion in his business. Johnny Moe's a lawn bro up in Pennsylvania. So I was watching these videos. I was like, man, this is fun. Yeah. And, and then I turned the corner and started getting plugged into the community that I want you to share about.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was a huge thing too, because you gotta understand, I've never had any job besides lawn care. So I grew up in landscaping, lawn care, all that, so I always, in my mind, especially as a kid, I didn't really enjoy it. Started enjoying it more as I got older, but I still always kind of felt, because I feel like the lawn care, having your own side hustle, lawn care business, all these things has become way more common in the last, 20 years, let's say. But still, as a kid, I felt like, man, me and my whole family, we're like a weird family, and we're like a landscaper family, right? I kind of felt like that, but I didn't really know about the expo or any of that stuff. When I start watching Geek Freak and I start seeing all these other channels, Sean Spencer back in the day when he had that, the two-tone F-150 and he first started in the Toro little zero-turn mower. Like all these people way back in the day, Lawn Care Rookie, and there's so many others, like you always say, I don't want to try to name all of them, but they're the people that started, I was like, man, this is so cool, because there's people out there, trying to do this and, make this business for themselves just like us. We're not the only, weird people, out here doing this. But then fast forward years later, I feel like every other person I see on the road, has a, mower in the back, right? I feel like it's like a common thing, but still, so overall it's really cool. But just like you said, just finding his videos like that, it kind of started changing my whole outlook just about the business in general. And then, and the expo and all that is part of keeping me, it's very encouraging when you go there, just encouraging just over the industry in general, just seeing all the companies and meeting all the people and just every aspect of it, I think is an awesome thing. And so that, that kind of wraps up my business. I keep it small for now. I've had a few guys here and there, and I could do that, and I probably may do that some in the future. But right now, as we've had small kids and we're, a lot going on in life, I want to keep it kind of simple for now. Very profitable right now. Things are good. Things are good overall. So I just work for 30 customers. I fix whatever they need done. If they need some plants or they need me to fix irrigation head or this or that, do it for them. But I'm not taking on, big landscape jobs or anything like that. And I got 4 or 5 different mowers, couple trailers, and we make it happen. And so that's pretty much my business since 2012, 2011, whatever.
Do you service them year round, Tony, or do you take
Yes.
December, January off? Okay. So do they pay you a monthly rate
yes.
per month? Okay.
Yeah, so I basically get paid the same in January as I do in July, minus whatever extras like there are more extras, in the spring and things that they want done. But that is the cool thing. I have that base amount, I make no matter what. It's good and bad, like it's seeing some people's businesses in other parts of the country. Sometimes like, man, I kind of wish I had like 2 or 3 months off. But then again, I think even if I had a couple months off, I think I would miss doing it. It's a good feeling knowing that, hey, even during winter, it's a pain blowing all day and all that, but I am making money. It's good. It's a blessing. So 12 months a year, yes, I get paid. So they're weekly customers, 12 months a year. And if I need to go 1 week of the year, we go to the beach. Usually I go to the beach a little more in the winter. Little kids and stuff, it's hard for them when it's super hot anyway. And it's hard, while the lake holidays are here. So usually like in the wintertime, we'll take a week, go to the beach. I'll go to the expo and all these things. And actually for me, I feel like I have more freedom now that I have all weekly customers, because if I have to skip them or something just 1 week, the next week I'm right back there at their house. When I used to have a lot of, bi-weeklies mixed in, if you miss a week, then man, like the schedule is just like so crazy and it's all over the place and it's messed up.
If you take care of a property 48, 49, 50 times a year and, take 2 weeks off for vacation or even more, maybe there's a crazy thunderstorm 1 week or whatever, the properties are so pristine because you're on top of it, and Tony, I know you're like me, we like to make it meticulous and look good. So because you're doing that week in and week out, it's okay to take a week off because it's maybe there's a little bit extra leaves. Oh, you just blow them.
Right,
so
right.
That's the beautiful thing. What approximately is, I know these yards vary in size and so the prices are going to fluctuate, but what's the average monthly price per property that you're charging these 30 customers, just regular property?
Yeah. So like my very smallest house I have, which is like the property is very small. I don't know what the actual square footage is, but it's probably less than a half an acre. It's small and there's a house on there and stuff. Like that one, that's my very cheapest yard. And that one's $200 a month, 12 months a year. But that one's about to go to $215 in the next 2 weeks. We're at, because like across the board of all my customers, just because of how things are, I have to raise them a little bit. Mm-hmm. And then some of my biggest property is a 3-acre property in Reynolds. Well, my church is like 6 acres, but I'm talking my biggest residential
homes. Yeah.
Yeah. My biggest residential home is a 3-acre one. Not all of it's grass, a lot of it's, woods and this and that. And I keep the woods maintained. And that one's, around $500 a month, 12 months a year. And so there are a lot of them in those 270s, 300s. So I guess like an average is probably, I don't know, average probably 275, 250. If you averaged them out, you're probably somewhere in that around that 300 mark, but
you're upselling on pine straw and all that's extra.
Yes. Pine straw is not included. If I got to fix the irrigation, that's not included. If I like change the irrigation program or something, obviously I do that. But like if I got to like fix something, not my fault, then yes, that costs extra. And if they have me come and, they want me to put these plants in or whatever, that all that stuff is extra money. And it works out great. And like I said, across the board, everyone, this year is going to go up $15 a month, but like some of my bigger properties goes up even a little bit more than that, just because, I have to stay profitable and stay ahead of, everything that's going on. And so if you think about it, like even a $15 increase, let's say it's $15 across 30 customers. Well, that's an extra $450 a month. You're doing same work, and you're getting paid a little bit more. And I've already started rolling it out and letting them know that. And I'm like 80% of them already know about it. I just still got to contact a few more. So far, 100% of the people told me like, hey, you're worth more than whatever increase that you want to do. Like, we want to keep you. We don't care about that. Because, because that's, I guess as all business owners, that's like one of the most uncomfortable things is like, this lady comes out and talks to me like, hey, have you seen my flowers or this or that? And my grass looks great. And then I have to tell like, hey, by the way, small tweak coming up, but they totally understand. These are business people. In reality, to them, they just like Paul says, if you don't raise your price, they would wonder why. Like every single other thing in the world is changing. And if I don't raise my price, then I'm making less than I made last year, which is bad because everything's costing more. We definitely don't need to be going backwards. We need to be going forward. So check out Paul's rate increase letter in
There
the
you go.
Green Industry Podcast Resources tab, right?
And we got a brand new, I don't know by the time this episode goes live, our new version of our website is going to be rolling out here very, very soon. So we've updated the resource center, the price increase letter template and registration, the Equip, and just basically anything and everything that's going to help you build your business. The bookkeepers I use, Megan and Joey, and just links and resources like that. So I put a lot of time, energy, and effort into the resource center. It's something I wish I would have had when I started my business, so I could have got all this stuff in order. But nevertheless, we've been working really, really hard behind the scenes on that. So I want to switch gears, Tony, and talk about the Equip. So, I'm assuming it was Greg Chisholm on YouTube persuaded you to, go to Louisville, Kentucky. Kind of tell us how you got started attending the event, and then give your pointers for this year's trade show, because I know we got a lot of folks that are listening right now that are still on the fence. They're like, man, you're wearing me out with all this Equip, Paul. Does it really live up to the hype? They're like, you're overhyping it. And I'm like, I would go before you tell me I'm overhyping it, because I think but anyway, there's a lot of guys on the fence that don't know if they want to make the investment in getting a hotel and driving and going. So I want you to kind of give a little cheerleading, whatever, Tony's take. So take it away.
Yeah. So as a young adult, as a teenager and a young adult for 6-7 years, I was a part of and served on a retreat that was a yearly retreat. And every time that a speaker would come up, a next speaker, let's say it was a young person or it was a clergy or it was an adult or whatever, we'd say, they would say this every time. They would read this thing: with a spirit of idealism and charity, welcome this next speaker who is an adult or who is in a youth or who is a clergy or whoever it was that was speaking. And I 100% believe that if you will come to the expo and you will approach it with the spirit of idealism and charity, you will approach it with the spirit of, hey, I'm here to make friends. I'm here to talk to companies. I'm here to say hello to someone new. I'm here to serve others, basically. If you will come to the expo with that attitude, there's a 100% chance that you will love it. So that is the only way that you would not enjoy the expo is if you approach it with the attitude where, hey, I'm just going to show up at the expo and I want Paul Jamison and Brian Fullerton to come make me breakfast in bed and come talk to me and be my best friend and all that, which they are your best friend. But I'm saying, if you approach it with the wrong attitude where I'm just going to slip in the back door and I want all these companies to meet my needs and I want everybody to meet my needs. If you approach it with that attitude, just like anything in life, just like if a church that you're part of, a group that you're part of, family you're part of, relationships you're part of, if you approach it with that attitude, that could be the only way where you may not 100% enjoy it. You probably would still enjoy it even if you had that attitude. But if you approach it with the mindset of, hey, I'm here to serve people, I'm here to go talk to new companies, meet new companies, say hey to a lawn bro that I see in line or a lawn sister that I don't even know, and be there, come and contribute to the expo. If you will come with that attitude, this will be one of the, I think for me, just event wise, and I've been to a lot of things, a lot of concerts, a lot of, this or that, retreats things, business things, racing things, all kind of things, different things I'm involved in, different, sports, whatever. This expo is the number one coolest event that I've ever been to in my life. And then going back, you want me to cover like how I got involved in it stuff so we can wrap this up. Yes, I watched Greg Chisholm, maybe just like you, I maybe seen it one year like, what is that? That's interesting. I don't know a lot about it, but it looks awesome. Maybe next year, a few more people are doing it. And then I don't know if it's maybe the total of the third year that I really seen a lot of stuff about it. I don't know if it's that second time around or the third time around. 2016 was my first time going, which I know they started the rally like many years before that. But so I was there at the last year of the Pleasure Ridge Pizza. So I show up, and it's crazy because even as a kid, my dad would get the Green Industry. Well, it used to just be called Pro, but now it's called Green Industry Pros magazine. And the expo would have ads in there and stuff. But, we just didn't pay a lot of attention to it. And my dad's never been and stuff. But when I started seeing his social media, my he's still in the business, all that. So I talked to him like, man, this expo thing is pretty cool. It's cool to the point where I think we need to like check this out and stuff like that. So 2016, we show up, go to the expo. My mind is blown right away. Pull in the parking lot, 20,000 lawn truck. That was one of the coolest parts. So right as you pull in the parking lot, you will see, so you'll see all these trucks of like the brands, Echo, DeWalt, whatever. And you will see people's actual companies' trucks, like their pickup trucks with a wrap on it. Some of them still had like sticks sticking out of the back of the truck where they just drove the truck there, grass clippings and stuff. I'm like, man, this is awesome. You just pull in, like, before I even went into the expo, just like seeing all that in the parking lot, like it would just blew my mind. And then going inside, and then you just don't even know which direction to look. There's just so much stuff there. And then it's even bigger this year, the stuff out back. And then after I did all that, went to that first rally at the Pleasure Ridge Pizza, and it was amazing. Everyone was so nice.
Who'd you get to meet that? I didn't start going until 2017. So I missed you by 1 year. That year, I wasn't able to go because I had a commitment at the radio station I worked at. So who was there at the Pleasure Ridge Pizza one?
Well, I mean, everyone was there, and it started to pick up, by 2016, I mean, the picking up steam pretty good. I remember standing there with the Dirt Monkey. So many people. There's so many great people that are there. There's a guy that owns a huge company up in Midwest. Some people from YouTube, and then just like a lot of other just general industry people that were there. And of course I get to meet Blake and all the people, and tons of other random people were there. And it was crazy because we're talking stuff, and there's so many people in there, which I got there early. I was one of the first persons there. It was like no one there. I'm like, this is so weird. It's like kind of a sketchy little restaurant kind of thing. I'm like, I think this is the right thing. And then sure enough, right as the expo, I guess the actual hour ended, man, hundreds of people coming. Cars are just pulling up on the road. Doors are open. People are just like dropping people off because they didn't even have anywhere they could like park, They're just driving. And it was snowing even just a little bit, like snowing, kind of sleet / raining a little bit. And like half the people were standing outside, at that little Pleasure Ridge Pizza place. That was so awesome because Lawn Care Rookie, even best part, he's seen all that going on. And he's like, hey, we want to keep this going. It's getting so big. People are standing out in the rain talking. And so that, and then the whole cave thing started, which even blew it up even more. But I never been a part of something quite like that, where you show up, everyone was smiling. You're there with a whole bunch of other, fellow landscape industry people, and it just blew my mind. Everyone was so nice, and everyone, there as a business owner, all kind of have similar mindset, whether on social media or not. They have that similar spirit about them, or you can go up to a guy you've never seen in your life at Expo and just start talking to him about business or whatever, and he has a similar outlook, similar attitude about his business. Now, because not only so many people, there are 30,000 people there from the industry, but the people that are actually there are people that want to better their business, people that want to grow their business. Like the people that just like hate their job, hate their business, hate their lawn care business, they're probably not putting out the effort to drive across country to come to the expo. Right. So you're pulling up there, and you're seeing like the best 2% of the whole industry is right there, and you can talk to them. Man, so it just blew me away, just how all that went. I'm trying to remember exactly if I met Greg that night or not. I don't know if he was already like out of it by then, but I still got to meet all the rest of the guys. Like it was such a good experience. I don't even know if I actually met him or not. I can't remember. I think he might have already been gone by then. I hate that I don't have the data on that, but
yeah, I'm not sure. Just so I know we have so many new listeners, and they're like, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Greg kind of initiated that first meetup at Pleasure Ridge Pizza, a few years prior, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And for the sake of abbreviated version, I'm not going to share a story, but Greg went on to be the #1 YouTuber in the world for 10 weeks in a row. He got, I think, like 13 billion views. Long story short, he kind of just had to just chill out from society for a few years. And so he stopped coming to the expo after that. So Naylor, he knew how much hunger was in that restaurant of just a bunch of entrepreneurs trying to make their business work, getting together. It was, it was explosive in the just environment. And so I actually was friends with Naylor on Snapchat. So we're snapping back and forth. And he's like, guys, he's like, I can't let this die, but we can't meet at Pleasure Ridge again because of the fire marshals. There's just too many people there. So he was talking to me and Pajak and some of our friends, Caleb Allman. And he's like, what do you guys think if I like took it from Pleasure Ridge, but like got a bigger venue? And he took all this responsibility on his shoulder to like find a bigger venue and put the money down and all this stuff. So he went to the caverns, the mega caverns. And so that is where this rally was at. And Echo and many other brands sponsored it. So Naylor was able to pay for the food for everyone. Whereas at Pleasure Ridge, you have to buy your own pizza. Now Naylor had everything catered and it was all free food. Well, when stuff happened in 2020, the cavern shut down. And so Naylor found a new venue, which is called Copper and Kings Distillery, which is even a bigger venue. And so that's where we had it last year. He had all the food catered. He had security. He had giveaways, sponsors, and all of this stuff. And so we're going to run it back there this year in 2022. It's going to be at Copper and Kings Distillery. It starts at 6:00 p.m., although last year by 5:55, the line was 4 blocks down the road. So you probably want to get there.
Yeah, like that is definitely something to, sorry, when I was looking away, I was just looking up Steve Rack. Do you know what I'm talking about? Steve R-A-K. He was like an editor for one of these lawn care magazines forever. Has a huge company called Southwest Landscape Management. He's in Ohio. I just looked up on Google. But what I'm saying is, so that first year I went there and I was talking with him and Dirt Monkey guy was there. I see him, years later, last year, I see this guy, Steve, again. We were at, I think maybe like Cub Toro booth or something. Seen him, talked to him again. Great guy. That's what I mean. Like, so it's not only just the few influencers, that we all know and love, but there's so many people like this that are like great people, very successful people in the industry that, you could just bump into and talk with. Just like people have mentioned, like you might be talking to someone like this guy just has a huge company. I didn't even really know who he was then, but we communicate back and forth. Great guy. And so like, there's so many people like that. And it's just a crazy thing. Like what I'm saying is like, even the people that you guys have never been before, what we're saying, or what I'm saying is like, even people, Paul Jamison, whatever, or even influencer people, that's really only tip of the iceberg of like, the people that are there just from the actual industry. Man, so many, just the networking things. There's classes. But the Thursday night, I think that is literally the peak event out of the whole weekend. Like, I bet people would come all the way out there just to attend Thursday night, And that is a thing where you do not want to be late. So last year I was 1 hour early and I was standing like a half a mile from like where you go in, just chatting with people in the line. Like, you remember, Paul, that line, like people in the road were like, what is this? What are all these people? Like people were like standing all across the road. Like Paul mentioned in one of his latest podcasts, those of us that are landscapers in rural areas, don't park your trucks in wrong places. Like cars are like, I could see cars like landscape trucks getting towed out there because people are just trying to like park wherever. And, it's kind of a little crazy little area down there. So I don't know. I kind of think for the Thursday night, I kind of think you need to be like at least an hour early just to stand there in line, just to like wait. Just think about this, like all these people on the road, if they even knew that all of us were staying there, not because of a concert, not because, Justin Bieber's there or something, like we're all standing there just so we can, yeah, we're all standing there just so we can wait to go in and stand around and talk to other guys about lawnmowers. Like, yeah.
I didn't get to eat last year because now at the time I didn't know who SB Mowing was or Beck the Beast, but Juggernaut, he's Kevin Hansen, Lawn Care Juggernaut. He said, hey, I want to do the podcast, but I want you to have my friend Spencer on it too. So I don't know who Spencer was. So anyway, I did a podcast with SB Mowing and Beck the Beast, who's a female lawn care girl up in maybe Pennsylvania. Oh, yeah. She's a solid person too. I really enjoyed getting to interview her. So that was so much fun. I interviewed the Juggernaut, who after that interview, he blew up even more on YouTube. And then SB Mowing, I just had dinner. He was here in Atlanta a couple nights ago. I took him out to dinner, him and his wife downtown Atlanta. And I got to eat dinner with him and his YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff blew up. Beck the Beast, I know she's really popular on TikTok. So it was really cool. I got to talk with them and interview them on my podcast. And then when we got done with all that, the food was all gone. So I was like, man, this year I'm getting my plate first, eating before all the podcasting. But I set up in the corner there and podcast. I know Jobber and Kohler and Echo and I don't know all the sponsors, but they all bring a bunch of free stuff too. So if you're one of the first people to get in, you'll get your coffee mugs and giveaways and everything they give away. And then they give away like bigger prizes, like Caleb up in Pennsylvania won a 30-inch mower. I think it was a Skag 30-inch commercial mower. So anyway, there's even cool giveaways like that. But like you said, everyone's just sitting around. Bring your coat. Us Georgia boys, it gets cold.
Oh, it's cold over there. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's, when we leave here, it's usually 65 and sunny. And
right.
We go up there and it's all right during the day. It's tolerable. But then all of a sudden it gets butt chilly cold. It's like 38 degrees. And I'm like, bring me back to Georgia. So definitely bring a coat and mittens or whatever.
It is so cool. Like even people that you get to see that are even while you're still standing in line, there'll be like brands handing out shirts or people handing out shirts. It's actually on my bucket list one day to get to the point where I get to be one of the guys that just gives out a shirt when people are walking up, just as a greeter, just someone that, hands out the shirt when people walking up into the expo, just because I think it's such a cool event. Like that would be a really cool part of my life.
You're hired, Tony.
Well, we have to ask Naylor.
All right. Well, I'll ask Naylor. It's all
I'm gonna call him Naylor just for fun. Naylor, like a hammer and nails. I call him Naylor, but I'm just gonna call him Naylor.
Well, I'll run it by the boss, but we need all hands on deck because and that's part of why the line's so long is, and you have to get the Equip Rally shirt. It's usually called GIE Rally. It's a collectible. You want to have one from each year. But
I have all of them from 2016 all the way up till now. So
that's dope. But they're limited time. But anyway, I say we need all hands on deck because we had a little ragtag team trying to pass everything out. So if we had more people, I think the line would go even faster. Mitchell Gordy did a phenomenal job kind of helping guide all of that. That'd be cool if you helped out with that.
Oh, I would love to do that. I just gotta get it past all the officials and see what it can be done, right?
Naylor's the official. I
know that.
I'm the trumpet, like with the podcast, telling people to show up and everything. But Naylor's the one that pays Copper and King's distillery. Yes. I don't even know how much money he is responsible for to rent because you don't pay afterwards. You have to pay in advance. So that's thousands of dollars that Naylor, on behalf of our community, guys, he puts his money to do this for our community. And then the catering and all that, you have to pay 50% down. And, he pays for everything and the t-shirts. And of course he's, gets sponsors, and thank God for Echo and Kohler and Jobber and all these companies that, I don't know all the sponsors. I don't want to name someone that's not a sponsor, but it seems like the same companies year after year sponsor this. So that helps Naylor offset the cost or whatnot. But what he does to put this event on for the community, I don't want to take zero credit. He does all of that.
Incredible.
Yeah. I just invite people to come, but Naylor's the one that does all the behind the scenes financial responsibility and contacting these venues and all this stuff. And, I can't give him enough credit. I know he listens to our podcast. So thanks for
absolutely. He's awesome. I watched since his channel started as well. I remember back in the day, do you remember the video where he made those homemade trimmer racks, like with the boards? He made these boards and like got the little brackets that just screw on 2x4s, and he like made them on the front of his trailer way back in the day when he started. I thought that was so cool, and it actually worked. It was functional. I made one for one of my blowers back in the day, and it was so cool. Like even just watching them through all then, and just everyone that was around is great. And then it's just crazy now. You can't even keep up like with so many good people that you can meet now. Like, oh man, there's so many great folks, around now. Anyone you can, think of really, but it's just like, wow.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I hope by us talking about this, guys, you can see our enthusiasm. You can see how much we look forward to. It's probably my favorite night of the year is that Thursday at GIE. Well, I keep calling it GIE, Tony. Equip.
Oh, yeah. I do the same. So, yeah.
That Thursday is so much fun. It actually starts at 8 in the morning. We're going to be doing Influencer Live with State Trooper Gordy is going to be there. Caleb and Brittany Allman from the Kid Contractor podcast are going to be there. Lawn Care Rookie is going to be there. There's several other folks that Naylor invited. So
you had a huge donut stack last year. That was awesome. They're like huge, like in the back. Yeah.
Yeah. Kohler Engine sponsors all that. So they pay like that. Those donuts were like $4,000. Oh, it's crazy because the Kentucky Exposition Center, you have to buy their catering services. So it's like you have no choice. So, they jack all the price up. It's not like you can call Dunkin' Donuts and Einstein Bagels and be like, hey, who's got the best price? You have to go with their price. So those were some expensive donuts and coffee. But Kohler pays for all that, guys. So it's free. I'm not sure if it's the healthiest breakfast, but it's free coffee, donuts, and all that stuff is in the back. Before the show room floor opens, we're going to be doing Influencer Live this year. So please come out and support us on that Thursday because when the room's packed, it sends a message to Equip and to Kohler that our community is, let me just say this very gently. They used to do other events that gets the main ballroom in prime time, and now they're giving it to our community. So I really want to encourage us to prove them that they're making the right decision and trusting us with such, huge opportunity.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was an awesome event. It was packed last year. I don't see it'll be even more packed this year. And it's cool that and guys, remember also, because last year is Friday morning, this year it's Thursday morning. So just keep that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah. And so that Thursday is going to be a blast, Tony, because it starts in the morning with Influencer Live. Once that lets out, now the trade room show's open. So I'm going to go walk around, hang out, probably cut out early. We'll see. Hopefully I'll cut out a little early and go back to the hotel and get a quick shower and change clothes, get warmer clothes for the night. But that was my plan last year and it didn't happen because.
That's what happens. It's like you plan to, like I was able to get over there, I think almost an hour early, but I even planned to get there earlier than that, but that's what's so hard. Thursday's the main day. You're talking to people, you're looking at stuff. Man, it's lunchtime. You look down, boom, it's 5 o'clock already. Like it's like it's that fast, and it's so hard too because it's like you want to be early to the rally, but like there's so many things that you want to see and other people you want to talk to there. Like you can't be everywhere at once, and so it's hard. But
I have to show up extra early to the rally because I got to get a good parking spot because I'm not. If you guys can Uber or what's the other one called, Lyft or whatever. Lyft. Do that. The reason I'm not doing that is because I'm bringing all my podcast gear and I'm helping Naylor carry boxes of T-shirts and just there's so much stuff. I kind of it makes sense for me to get there, but I want to park close by. So I got to be there probably like 4:30 or whatever. It doesn't open until 6, but just to help set up and get everything ready. And the sponsors are there early and just making sure they're all set up. Anyway, that Thursday is going to be so much fun with the Influencer Live. Then I'll go to the trade show. Then I'll, Lord willing, go get a quick shower, change clothes. But again, that was my plan last year. You kind of have to have a plan for Equip. Like I'm going to try to do this, but it's just like clusters of groups of people start just like gathering random plots and it's just so much spontaneity, but you definitely want to be an Influencer Live Thursday morning, 8 a.m. and then at the Equip rally at 6 p.m. or it goes till 9,
right? Or something.
Yeah, officially it goes till 9. And then I think the security started kicking everyone out at 10 last year. I got you. I was like the last person to leave, but the security, people did like start being like, all right, guys, you got to go. So.
Yeah, and let's not wear out our welcome, with that either. Let's be, when they want us to leave, if we're supposed to leave at 9, let's start clearing out of there so we can keep doing this in future. Let's not abuse our opportunities here, So
yeah, and it's not a rally is not a part of the official, like Influencer Live's a part of the official Equip. Like it's backed by Equip. This is something we do off campus on our own dime. Well, Naylor's dime, but you know what I mean? It's organic amongst the community. And so we definitely got to be on our best behavior or Trooper Gordy's going to. So Mitchell Gordy is one of the speakers at Influencer Live. He's a state trooper in his daytime.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, Mitchell's lawn care. A lot of people don't know that because he doesn't talk about it, but his full-time job, he's a state trooper.
Oh, yeah. I've known Mitchell for a lot of years. He's a great guy. I just didn't know he was a part of one of the speakers for the podcast panel. Does he have a podcast right now or no?
No. So the 3 podcasters that are, oh man, I just realized something, Tony. Thursday at 2 p.m. I have a commitment.
Elevate, right?
Elevate, yeah. So I don't know about my shower and change of clothes plans because I'm gonna be at that event. Oh man. But anyway, I'm gonna bring some Old Spice Pure Sport deodorant and brush it up that way. I just forgot about that. Thursday is gonna be crazy, man.
Yeah.
So Influencer Live is Kid Contractor Podcast, LCR Media Podcast, Green Industry Podcast, and then the way Naylor set this up is where each podcast is going to go up there for like 25 minutes, but then we're going to interview other industry leaders. And so the industry leader that I'm interviewing, I think, is Mitchell Gordy. And then,
which is awesome. That's kind of what y'all did last year with Alan Haynes, Sean Spencer, and the gang. You know, it was cool.
And then
really cool.
One that I really look forward to hearing is Caleb is going to interview Andy Mulder. And if you guys have been watching, and I know you're not on Instagram, but Andy Mulder has been doing the biggest job I've ever seen. He's literally been doing the job all year. He's been working on one project all year, and he's building like the craziest. It looks like he's building a resort, Tony, but he's building like, I don't even know what he's building because it's not done yet, but it looks like he's building like, it looks like a 5-star resort in this rich person's backyard on a golf course. Anyway, Andy Mulder's, he's a millionaire. He's debt-free. His whole business is debt-free. He's a guy that's really further along in business than a lot of us, so we can really learn a lot from him. Everything about his business is debt-free, and he's definitely a millionaire all through a lawn care business. And so he does landscaping as well. So, and then there'll be other people there. So sorry, I'm getting long-winded, Tony. We could.
No, you're not at all. I appreciate you having me on here, and really looking forward to the expo, seeing everyone. I mean, it's just opportunities are endless. It's a great thing, I encourage everyone to try to come out, if you can. Well, I mean, you just have to put importance on it. It's probably not going to be super easy for anyone. We make time for things that are important in our lives. And this is just kind of one of those things. You're not just going to wake up that day and you're going to have a flight magically booked and your yards are going to be caught up and it's just going to be easy. It's not going to be like that. You're going to have to do it on purpose. But I would say it's worth it. It's tax write-off. My customers like that I go and further my lawn care education. They don't have a problem with it. I still do as many as I can, couple days, hit the road, go do it. You catch up on a few more yards on Saturday. You kind of got to be creative with it, but it's worth it. It's a crazy week by the time you do all that and driving and doing all the stuff, but it's awesome. It's fun. So come out, see us, see me, see Paul. Paul, do you know all the meetups and such that you're going to be part of, or do you not know that stuff yet, or is that coming out later?
Yes, I do. Now, for our friends watching on YouTube, I need to end the YouTube broadcast right here. And for you listening, follow our YouTube channels. It's Tony's Lawn Care and Green Industry Podcast, and I have the video version of the podcast on there, but I have to end the YouTube version right now, but we're going to continue on audio only. So thanks for watching on YouTube.